Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. It is still the 31st of August, and I believe this is the 150th Pursuit of Truth. Sort of following on from some of the other bits I was going on about, but two things I was thinking of is, what I was thinking of is about how the concept of living or existing, how weird it is. I've always had this feeling of of always being here. I don't have that feeling of not being here, and I know that's stupid. That sounds stupid saying that, but do you know what I mean? You must know what I mean. You must have had that thought sometimes, thinking about all this that's happened before. People lived back, hundreds, thousands of years ago. They lived in their tiny little bubble, and they had their 50 years, 30 years, 80 years, whatever they had. And that was their life. And they saw their existence, their world, through their eyes. And now I'm looking back, thinking about those people, thinking, but they did exactly the same thing. They looked back at the people before them. And the same as like when I'm gone, then people will, still be here. The world will still be spinning and turning, and people will be looking back at this time. It's such a weird thing to think of, like, our different segments of time that we all occupy. Sometimes you can get a bit crazy and you can think, wait a minute, is everyone a figment of my imagination? Is this, I was going to say The Matrix, or that Red Dwarf episode, or like simulation theory. I don't believe in simulation theory, but I'm just thinking, you sometimes have that feeling of, when you walk into a room and suddenly people start moving, you sometimes notice these little glitch type things. I mean, it's nothing, it's just coincidence, but it's weird how we have these individual thoughts about our existence and not knowing, because we don't feel before, like I don't remember the time before I was born. I know there's some people who do these regression things and they claim to be, King Arthur or whoever else, or some Roman or Greek god or whatever. I don't know if there is any validity in that, whether there is like reincarnation, things like that. I don't really believe in that kind of concept, but it's interesting how we have these types of thoughts. And I know I'm not the only one who's ever thought about their own existence and their own mortality. And then I was thinking about, when you die, and everything that you did almost it feels like it is for nothing. It's just been like a game, in the sense that, if you look at my life, I've written poems, I've gone to work, I've done things like that, and when I'm dead, what will it all amount to? I just kept a cog turning. When you really look at the things as things that actually matter. I mean, like, if you look at my life, the work that I did when I'm working for all these different companies, that, I'm not high up in any of these companies. So, and obviously, the majority of my time awake has been working. If you think about your whole life, if you think about your parents, their whole lives have been working. And that's what made me think about this, is that what then, I mean, yeah, if they've had children, or you had children, then you have that to think about, that you produced, you carried on the cycle. But what really for? If you believe in the system that we live in, and it's all about, you're born here and you do something, and some people write great epics, some people are movie stars, actors, some people are managing directors, some people sweep the floors, some people live out in the streets, some people just die of curable diseases, and all sorts of things like that. All the different reasons of people's existence, their lives. Yeah, if you believe in that system, then you got validity for their existence. But if that's all fake, which we all know it is, it's something that's grown over thousands of years and evolved, that people, you know, started bartering and then deciding to have money and then having jobs in companies and competition and, you know, and all that kind of stuff in houses and, you know, whatever. It's all a false paradigm, a false system. It's not, you know, if you were born somewhere else, if you're born in a forest with a tribe, you'd be living like that. You know, if you didn't have people, if you were born somewhere where you didn't have any education, you know, say like you were like Tarzan, in a plane crash and you were just with monkeys, you'd be brought up like a monkey. There's been examples of that. So our own way of life is just the one that is instilled upon us. If we didn't have someone to teach us English, we wouldn't suddenly start speaking English or Japanese or Chinese or, you know, French or whatever. We're taught these things. Everything of us is taught. Yes, there is some bits of us that are, you know, nature argument type thing. But it's just when you strip all those things away and look at yourself as an individual and you take away all the false paradigms and all the stuff that you were taught, what really did we do here? We just lived, we ate, we lived and we died. And we may have done some productive things along the way, which may or may not have been productive or fruitful or necessary. You know, like if you make loads of toilet rolls, I mean, well, I suppose people need toilet rolls, isn't it? Okay. I suppose the thing is, if you work on this system, there's always somebody who needs some product, and then you did serve some purpose. But in the great scheme of things, is that what you really were here for, to make toilet rolls endlessly for 60 years? Or to quality test them? That'd be even worse, wouldn't it? No, but you know what I'm trying to say? That's your whole existence. People have lived and died like that. Their whole existence was work. Yeah, they may have done other things by and by, you know, like painting or running or writing or singing or, you know, whatever their hobby is. But that takes up a small amount of time. So, I don't know, I'm trying to... in my head, I can see what I'm trying to say, but I don't know whether I'm conveying it eloquently enough for you to see what I'm picturing. That, you know, let's go back to that guy. He's made toilet rolls for 60 years, yeah? And he used to paint as well. Okay, yeah, so he's got some pictures that he's done. But is that all his life was really about? Is there no real purpose to this existence? Are we just like the animals that just, they eat and they live and they die and that's it? Is that the reason why we have all these false paradigms, this system that we're living in of working, of, you know, wanting to buy cars and all that kind of stuff, because that makes our lives feel fulfilled and having a purpose? But of course, if it's not real, if it could be different, then it's fake anyway, isn't it? Because if you're born in a different country, it'd be completely different. If you're born in a different time, it would be completely different. So you're just subject to your own time and country, your position, stature, if your parents are rich or poor. I'm just thinking how many millions or billions of people have lived their lives not really that happy, sort of just working to live, to survive, to be able to get a house, to be able to live in a flat, or in the past, you know, to actually live in a hut or something. That sounds very... Anyway, you know, all those things that they've done, and they lived and they died, and they may have wanted, you know, someone may have wanted to have been a painter, someone wanted to be an actor, but they could never be it because they didn't have the money, didn't have the qualification, the education, didn't have the chance, the luck. Some of these things are all about, you know, who you know and if you're in the right place at the right time. I know some people will say you can do anything you want to do, but that's simply not true. In the sense that, you know, there are systems that are around, and clubs and people, and you have to know certain things, you have to know certain people to get somewhere. So yeah, to a certain extent that is a possibility, but you know what I'm trying to say. There are loads of people that die not fulfilling their dreams. So their whole life, what was it all about? Because I was thinking, like, I'm trying to say that, oh, we could live a better life, we could live a different life, we could, you know, get rid of money and all work together and not have countries and not have divisions and have this different kind of system. But wait a minute, I'm just replacing one system with another system. Is it just as fake? Is it, you know, is our existence just that we're here to be, I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, is that all our life is about? It's just living, being born, living and dying. And it wouldn't matter what you did in between. It doesn't affect any. Well, I suppose it does affect any. It does affect some things because it affects how other people live. But then, as you look through different times, they all live by different systems. I don't know if I'm if I'm making myself clear. I'm probably not. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but it just came up into my mind when I was thinking about mortality and death and things like that. And like me coming up with, that we can live a better life and all this type of thing, and that I don't know. I suppose what I'm really saying is, is there a purpose of us living here? If you take away the systems that our forefathers, as it were, have brought down to us, that we're born into, is there an ideal purpose that we're here for? Religious people would obviously say to worship God, and that's why we're here, to worship God, to help one another, and to propagate. But even looking at that, is that all we're here to do? Or maybe that's enough, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking there should be some really grand thing, but there isn't really a grand thing. It's just about tasting what life is like. That's, I suppose, the most precious thing that we don't really ever understand, because we have it, we don't know what it's like to not have it. But I guess that is what it's here about, is having that time to be with other human beings, to be able to experience life and its beauty and all the things around. So I guess if that's the case, then the better the system that we live in, the better that life will be for us individually and us as a collective. Anyway, I've waffled on far too much, and I'm sure I know I've stopped and started where the twins were making noise, so I do apologise, but, well, not that I need to apologise, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I hope I made some sense towards the end, and maybe made some people think, or anyway, leave your comments, whatever you think. As Jamie would say, like and share. Take care, take it easy, God bless and peace.